everything from those two toolboxes went onto the rolling tool cart. And not only did everything go on there, I was able to put things on there that I did not have in the toolboxes. For instance, my cordless drills and my clamps did not go in there. So, and also I still have space left. So let me grab the tool cart and roll it over here and show you what I came up with. Easy peasy. Now I did save one of the, I saved the smaller black toolbox. I gave the red one away. I saved the smaller one, and I'm going to put back in it things that I'm probably, rarely going to use, maybe once or twice a year. For instance, all of my extra hammers. Why would I have all those claw hammers when I don't know. It's one of those things. You know, my fault is that I go to like garage sales and stuff, and I'll see a hammer for 50 cents and I'll pick it up because I'm a sucker. But anyways, I was able to put my clamps on here also, my small ones on here, and my large ones below. Anyways, I'll bring you in closer and show you what I got. Now, it's really kind of, it's amazing because you never know what you have until you start emptying your toolboxes. For instance, I've got like 14 of these box knives, these X-Acto knives. Well, they're not X-Acto knives, they're just, I use them for like sheetrocking and stuff like that. But I'll be on a job site or something, helping someone, and if I'm farther away from home than I am to a store, I'll just run down because they're only a couple bucks, grab a couple of them. The last time I was out helping someone, it was only 5 minutes from the store, and so I ran down and grabbed a 3-pack of these knives here, and the 3-pack was like $5, and so it was almost a giveaway. So I end up with these, and so usually when I go on a job site, I have a rolling tool cart with a handle on it that I take with me, and I just throw a bunch of this stuff in there. But sometimes my brain hiccups. But anyways, I'll grab the camera and I'll give you a closer look. But like I said before, I didn't do a video of me putting these things together and the shelving and whatnot, because yours is going to be different. But when I give you a rundown, it'll just give you some ideas of how you can put yours together. So just kind of use this as a reference or a guide so you can put yours together. This thing rolls really easily. I can take it just anywhere I want to, anywhere in my shop, and it rolls like a dream. I do think that putting those bigger casters with the 250-pound payload on each one, which would be 1,000 pounds total, was a benefit. So I like using the rubber casters. I don't like the hard plastic ones. So these roll really easily. So let me grab the camera and bring you in a little bit closer and give you a quick rundown of how I put this thing together. Okay, so let me show you what I've done here first on the top with the screwdrivers. What I did was I just took some pieces of 1/2-inch plywood and stood it up on both ends here so that I could take strips and go across the top. So from the side, I show you here, I've got some small pieces going across, and it's basically just creating a channel, is what it is. And I put them closer together if I wanted to put some skinny screwdrivers, and then farther apart for some larger ones here. And I'll show you here from the top. So I didn't drill holes, I just made those channels for these to kind of slide along. I may do something different later as I use this to see. Sometimes they do kind of fall over a little bit, but not bad. I mean, they don't fall out of the display, so I'm not really too worried about it at this point. So that's what I did on top with the screwdrivers. And then now let me back up a little bit so you can see all of the pliers here and a few of my scissors. Now, what I did here was I took a piece of 1/2-inch conduit and drilled a hole and then just ran it through, and then there was a piece that covered it up so it doesn't fall out. And then on this side here, it doesn't go all the way through. So I basically ran it through here, and to keep it from falling out, I put this piece of 3/4 in here to attach these two anyway, so that's what holds this conduit in. And then on the bottom here, what I did was I routed a channel, just cut it out with my actually with my jigsaw, and it goes across. So what it allows is that my larger pliers like this can go down, sit on top of this conduit, but one of the handles goes into the slot like that. And then the slot also provides, see, some of the smaller ones, of course, don't go down into that slot. They just sit like that, and they seem to sit perfectly fine. Now, for the smaller ones, let me pull a couple of these things here up. For the smaller ones, they just go right into the channel and sit like this on the front of this board, and they sit fine just like that. And then my larger ones like this, the screwdrivers that won't fit into here, go into the channel, and then they rest against the back of the shelf beneath it, and I'll show you that in a minute. So that's where those sit, and then my vice grips just clamp right onto this conduit. So let me back up a little bit just a second and show you how these rest against this shelf below it. See, you go like that, and they sit down in here and then rest against this shelf right here, the back of this. And then just going right down the front, let me tilt this camera a little bit. I know it's not a very professional pan, but I've got the second shelf down. I just drilled an oval hole for all of my crescent wrenches to sit in, and then a few holes for the smaller ones, which, I mean, that's insane. I didn't know I had that many crescent wrenches until I cleaned out my toolboxes. And then I just put some small pieces around here to make a small box to put my tape measures and my pocket reference guide. I drilled some holes in the shelf below it to put my cordless drills in, and then below that I just put my, this is my laser level. I just have that sitting there. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. And the shelf below that is not being used. And so like I said before, I have space left. And then below that, what I did on the very bottom is I made basically a 1/2-inch plywood box that's only just a few inches tall to hold all my wood chisels, my hacksaw blades, and a bunch of other stuff, my files and stuff. And I'll go around the other side. When I show you the other side, I'll show you what I've got on the other side of that box. So going along the side here, let's go to this side. And what I have here on the top, I basically made this piece of 1x from pine, and I just drilled holes. I may do something different here because on some of these small ones, these are all of my screw bits. What the crap do they call them? My nut drivers. I knew that's what it was called. But anyways, I've got my regular and metric, and on the smaller ones, the hole is kind of big, so they do kind of fall over. They don't fall out, but they do sometimes kind of tip over. So I may do something different there. I may not. It's not that big of a deal. Now, on the next two down here, what I've got is I've got all of my drill bits. And what I've done is I've just taken a small piece of 3/4 PVC pipe and then just drilled a hole down about halfway through this 2x4. I ripped the 2x4 and made it a little more narrow, and then I just went and wrote the size of the drill bit on there, and I just set my drill bits in here. I made them shorter over here, like my 1/16. I just made the PVC a little shorter here, and then just set them in here. So they're just sitting, they're not glued in. And so I've got from 1/16 all the way down to 9/16 right here. And then below that, I have my Forstner bits into a small piece of cedar that I had laying around, and I just drilled a little hole halfway through this where my Forstner bits sit in, and just wrote on here what they are with a Sharpie. And then I use these Forstner bits. If you've never used any Forstner bits, boy, I love these things. They drill perfect holes. You can see here that there's no, I don't know, can you see there? There's no blowout here. It's a perfectly shaped hole, which I love those Forstners. And then below that, I just put a couple hangers on here for my hacksaws. And then I still have a little room down below. Here you'll notice that I don't know what I'm going to do yet. So moving along to the back side, what I have here is, as I said before, I've got all of these knives, which I have an insane amount, which I just need to get rid of some of those. I have my punches here that I had sitting in one of the cabinets, and then I just screwed that onto here. I've got my glues, I've got all my pencils, And this here, what I have for all of the blades for the knives, I have these locking little boxes that I got from Ace Hardware, and they're not just snap tight. What they do is they have this little metal clip that holds them completely, so even if I drop this, well, I mean, it's plastic if I drop it, but what I'm saying is if I just drop it on the table, it goes upside down or something, anything hits it, it won't just pop open and I won't cut myself. And I've got 2 of those for all of the blades. And then down here what I did was, for all of my hammers and mallets, I just made this little box here and then just did some little V-cuts on the front and back of it to hold the hammers like this. And then I also have my pipe wrenches here, so I've got 3 sizes there. I just put a couple of my claw hammers in, but I do have a lot of other claw hammers that I put back in one of the toolboxes. And then I took a small shelf below this and just put all of my small clamps onto it. So it's a really small shelf. And then I went and put my larger clamps down below here. I've got my larger ones here because they're going almost to the floor. Let me show you that. See, they're going almost to the floor, so the larger ones go here, and then I've got a bunch of these mid-sized ones that go. I did the same thing here, and I took a 1/2-inch conduit EMT and then put this through, and then that's where my drill bits go. Now, my drill bits, my drill bits. I mean, when I start talking like this, I can't stop. But anyways, that's where my clamps go. Now, on the bottom here, you can see the box a little bit better that I made. And I've got a bunch of stuff that's in boxes. Like I've got my hole saws, I've got my calipers, my digital calipers, my regular calipers, my hammer tacker, my big framing hammer, a mallet, things like that. And my tap and die set. So stuff like that just goes on the bottom there. Stuff that I don't use all the time, but if I need it, it's there. And then we move along to this side here, which, let's go from the bottom since we're already down here. I just put a finish nail in for my metal rulers. I've got my center rules here, 2 of those, which I love those. If you've never used a center rule, they're awesome because you just set your mark to the center here, and then you can gauge it on both sides to where you can figure out exactly where your center is. And then just my regular aluminum. And then I've got my speed squares here. And then as I go up, what I did here was I went and got, at Harbor Freight they have these magnetic tool strips. And I just screwed them on, and they're magnets is what they are, so you can put things onto it like this, and they're actually pretty strong. So I put all of my metric wrenches here. Up on this one, well, I put all of my metric sockets here first, and then I'm holding the ratchets here. And then my metric wrenches, and then I have my regular sockets here, and my regular wrenches. And then I do have here, I've got my little magnetic pickup tools. I've got a small one and a medium-sized one here, which I love these things. These are, boy, I can't live without those. And then up on the top here, I've got my Allen wrench sets here, my regular and my metric. And that's pretty much it. This is what I've come up with so far. Let me back up. When I put this thing together and I built it and I designed it, I didn't use any kind of engineering equations. In other words, I'm not an engineer, so I don't know what certain things, what kind of weight they will hold, or how they're structured and how they stay together. But I'm using only common sense. And common sense tells me that this 3/4 inch plywood on the sides, and putting these shelves in and gluing them, and making some of these boxes that I've got here, like this for the hammers, and I'm gluing them and screwing them to the sides. And then the box on the bottom that I made, the plywood box, I glued that and I screwed the sides into it also, and I think that added to its strength. But anyways, I wanted to, put this disclaimer out here that I am not an engineer, but common sense tells me that this thing can hold a lot more weight than is on there now, and I'm going to get many, many, many years of use out of this. And so I wanted to put it out there to let you guys know. If you build one of these and it decides to topple on you, it's not my fault. But I don't perceive that happening, but you have to nowadays. You have to put these disclaimers out there. So now, as I use this more and more, I've been using it a couple weeks, and I thoroughly enjoy this. It rolls so easy. I can just, of course, now it rolls easy unless I have pebbles and things on the floor, chunks of wood on the floor, then it doesn't. But as it sits, if I keep my floor clean, it rolls so easy. I can take it right over to my workbench and work on stuff. But as I use it, things may change a little bit. Accessibility on certain things, I might take some things off if I don't use them much and replace it with other things. Or as I buy some different tools that I don't have on here, I may change it too. But as it is right now, I can't tell you how easy it is to work on things now. I don't have to go to a drawer and be yanking the drawers open looking for my tools. I need something, it is right here. No matter any kind of tool, unless it's a huge power tool, it's pretty much right here. And so I'm loving this. And I'll put a link below for the plans that I used. That I just did a really quick PDF sketch of all the pieces, and I put it on my website. So I'll give you a link below where you can go out and download the plans, and then you can kind of fit this to your own. The plans don't include all the little things that I did, like the conduit and this here and whatnot. It's pretty much the skeleton of it, and then you can just add and take things away as you want to. And I think you're gonna, if you do make one of these, I'm telling you, it's a blessing. It's a lifesaver, because this is just, I can't sing its praises enough. So, anyways, there is my rolling tool cart, and thanks a lot, guys, for watching. And don't forget to subscribe, and we'll catch you guys later. You've got to get yourself one of these. I am serious.